Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rachakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and push this word in truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect pushing this word across the four corners of the earth, and to the sincere Akwathium that are listening and learning the talents in these last days. It's your brother Yadai from the DC Church and Lord's Well. This video will be edifying, short, and straight to the point. I don't know what I'm going to entitle it, but based on my prior video, I was reading in Psalm 55, but what I decided to do was just finish out the chapter. But when I came across verse 22, it inspired me to want to come up with a prayer reading that very first part. And it reads, Cast thy burden upon the Lord Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, and he shall sustain thee. Okay. Now, what that makes me think of is just the times that we're coming into, the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble in World War III. But in the midst of all those things, all hell is going to break loose. Civil wars, pestilences, famines, of the word and of water and food shortages. It's all going to be a time where our essential needs are going to be taken away from us. And the only way to get it back, again, is a path that's going to lead to the MOTB. Now, what we want is, while leading up to that point, to the point where it's mandated, we want to be sustained so we don't feel tempted by the hour of temptation. So we don't feel tempted to have to receive those things from Esau, Edom. Okay. And Lord willing, the Spirit is upon me and other brothers that are out there laboring in truth and sincerity as well, that they don't have to follow Isaiah 30 and 1. Why? Because the Spirit of the Lord is going to be upon us. We're going to have these precepts that we can recall to be able to have sustain us, because it's the Spirit that quickens, it's the Spirit that's going to guide us, but it's the Spirit that's going to help us recall certain precepts to give us peace of mind as we go through these situations. And Isaiah 33 and 6 says what? Wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy times, you know? But the fear of the Lord, that is your treasure. But first, you have to fear the Lord first. Then what? Because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Once you fear the Lord, then you have the wisdom and knowledge that's going to be able to sustain you. But you have to be able to hearken first, all right? Because the Lord is only going to be looking out for his elect at the end of the day, all right? But that's where I got the verse from in Psalm 55:22. So I'm going to read it how I got in the Lashwan Kodash. Lord's willing, it is correct. If not, you can leave it on the comment board and I can make a correction video, all right? But get a couple precepts after I read it in the Lashwan Kodash, and then I'm going to close out. Lord willing, this is edifying to the flock and another prayer that brothers can use. So Psalm 55 and 22 is, Cast thy burden upon the Lord, Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Okay. Now again, the first part the part I'm focusing on is the first half of that verse. All right. So as you know, we always call on the names of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash, Babakashah, 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 Izarnaya, which is help me. Hashalak is cast. Al is upon. Atha is you. Yahweh, Yah, meaning my Lord. That's why the Yah is at the end, because it's possessive. Yahab, Yahabka. So Yahabka Yum, which is thy burdens. So thy burdens, that's why I added the Yum at the end, because it's talking about burdens. Thy, that's why it's Ka at the end of Yahab. So Yahabka Yum. All right. Wa is in, and Thamakya, meaning sustain me. Thamak is sustain me. That's why I added the Yah to make it possessive. Okay. So I'm going to read it again. Izarnia, which is help me. Hashalak is cast. Al is upon. Atha is you. Yahweh is my Lord. Yahabkayim is thy burdens. Wa is and. Thamakya is sustain me. All right. So I'm going to read it all together. And it reads Yahweh. Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakwadash, Babakashah, 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 Izarnaya, Hashalak, Al Atha Yahweh, Yahabkayim, Wa Thamakya. Help me cast upon you, my Lord, thy burdens and sustain me. All right. Now the precepts I want to pull out here is first in Matthew 11, and read verse 28. Because this is exactly what Yahweh Shai told us to do, because he knows we're going to be walking a difficult path, entering at the straight gate, right? But when we're in dire straits, that's when our communication with the Lord needs to increase. Okay, because he's the only one that can really deliver us out of these situations. Isaiah 45:7 says he controls the light and the darkness. So if you have a power that's controlling all things, then that's the power you want to seek to be able to help deliver you from certain situations. Okay. So Matthew 11, I'm gonna actually start from 28 and read on down. It says, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden. And all the brothers out there doing the work that are laboring as heavy laden. Why? Because it's hard to be righteous in the wicked generation. Of course, in our spirit, that's what we want to be, but the flesh is weak. Okay. So that's the battle you have to go through when it talks about in Galatians 5. But it says, and I will give you rest. The same thing, the same sentiment that it was talking about in Psalm 55. Okay. Now it says, take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So everything that we go through, man, just give it to Yahweh Shai, because there is no problems that he can't handle. When you don't pray to him to handle your problems, you're only somewhat saying that the problems are bigger than what he can handle. Okay. So you don't want to get off the wrong message. Let me go to First Peter 5:7. And it says, casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you. That's the reason why we do it, because he is looking out for us. All right. But the question is, how much do you believe this? How much faith do you have to actually believe that these words are going to be true? That when you're going through something, that's the action you're going to take to make sure that you're sustained. Okay. Now, what you decide to turn to is going to be showing where your faith is. Some people turn to drugs. Some people turn to Esau Edom, like in the last days. Some people turn to alcoholism. Some people turn to other things to make them feel better. But the elect are going to turn to Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Why? Because he cares for us. That's why we cast our care upon him so he can be able to deliver us from said situations. Okay? Especially the times that we're coming into. Now, let me get one more before I close out. Let me get Psalms 119 and read verse 117. And it says, hold thou me up, and I shall be safe, and I will have respect unto thy statutes continually. Now, you can even read that backwards because it's going through that respect and following the Lord that he's going to be able to hold you up and keep you safe. Why? Because even in Judith 5, you can read from 17 on down, maybe a couple verses down, like 5. And it talks about the fact that the further we are away from our power, because we're sinning, we're worshiping other gods, committing spiritual fornication, forsaking the ways that we're supposed to be living, well, then the Lord is not going to look out for you. And the enemy knows that. That's why the enemy has constructed a world that's complete opposite of Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai. That's how they put the bottle to the neck to make you sin over and over and over again so you won't be protected by the Lord. Okay. But when you can resist all those things because you're, not ignorant of Satan's devices, then now you're able to walk because you're guided by the Holy Spirit, not in darkness, but led by the light, and because you're focusing on Yahweh Shai. Okay. So hold thou me up, and I shall be safe. Only the Lord can hold us up and us be safe, because divine intervention is going to be needed in these times. And it says, and I will have respect unto thy statute continually. Meaning this is something that you have to constantly endure all the way into the end. Because those who endure to the end, those who be saved. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back and read what I got in Lashwan Kodash one more time, and Lord willing, this is edifying and it can help brothers out. And it says Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash, Babakasha, 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 Izarnaya, which is help me, Ha Shalak is cast, Al is upon, Atha is you, Yahweh is my Lord, Yahabkayim is thy burdens, Wa and Thamakya sustain me. So Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakwadash, Babakasha, 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 Izarnaya, Hashalak al Atha Yahweh, Yah Yahabkayam wa Thamakya. Help me cast upon you, my Lord, thy burdens and sustain me. But that's all I got right there, man. Again, the verse that inspired me to want to come up with that prayer is right here in Psalms 55 and 22. And that's the very first half of it. I actually want to see what it says in the AMP. Then I'm going to close out. Cast your burden on the Lord, meaning release it, and he will sustain you, uphold you, which I read in even Psalms 119. And it says, he will never allow the righteous to be shaken, slip, fall, or fail. Okay? So the Lord is always going to be able to hold us up. That's what it means to be able to sustain us. Okay? And we only can pray that that's what's going to happen, that our temptation is being put out there. and mandated. All right. But that was it. Again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and push this word in truth and sincerity. Till next one.